NBA World reacts to Kobe Bryant death tragic YouTube. Hey guys, Casey Kiernan here from the AM Hoops YouTube channel. I already made a reaction video just minutes after I found out that Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash at 10 in the morning near Los Angeles. His 13-year-old daughter Gigi was with him. They were going to one of her basketball games. But since then, enough time has passed, and now the rest of the NBA world is reacting. So I thought it was important to make a video about that. Some of the very first pictures we got were of LeBron James reacting to the news. He was clearly crying as they came off the team plane where the Lakers found out. Reactions started coming in from the greatest players of the game. Michael Jordan, who was Kobe's hero, and the man Kobe said he tried to copy his game and attitude from, said, "I am shocked about the terrible news of Kobe's and Gianna's death. Words can't describe the pain I'm feeling. I loved Kobe. He was like a little brother to me." Kobe was also an amazing dad who loved his family deeply and was so proud of his daughter's love for basketball. He said he and his wife are sending their deepest sympathy to Vanessa, the Lakers team, and basketball fans around the world. Of the many nice things that Magic Johnson wrote. He said that the world lost the greatest Laker. He also said, "I love him, his family, and what he stood for on the court and off the court." Jerry West, the man who saw one workout of Kobe Bryant and said we must have him on the Lakers, said in part, "The news we've all gotten today is the most terrible news that anyone can imagine. I am so sad for Kobe's parents, Vanessa, Natalia, Bianca, Capri, Kobe's sisters, and all the NBA fans that hold Kobe in their hearts." Now, one of the sad things about all this is that real NBA games are being played on this day, one of the saddest days in NBA history. The first tribute to come in was the first moment of silence before the Raptors and the Spurs game. A tragedy has happened to the world of basketball earlier today. At the age of 41, Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash. The NBA and the game of basketball will be sad about this loss together. Please join us in a moment of silence for Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Mamba. When the game started, there was a really touching tribute. Greg Popovich and Nick Nurse agreed that their teams should not even play for the first 24 seconds. Instead, they would accept a 24-second shot clock violation as a tribute to Kobe, of course. He wore number 24 somewhere else. Trae Young came on the court for the Atlanta Hawks with Kobe's number 8 jersey, and they took an 8th violation. And there was an 8-second violation for Trae Young's tribute to Kobe. Bryant players weren't the only ones who didn't feel like doing their jobs. The Knicks honored Kobe with purple and gold outside of Madison Square Garden. Their famous announcer, Mike Breen, had this touching tribute. I clawed my way into the arena. I thought about Bill Gallo. Gallo is the famous sports cartoonist who, when Thurman Munson died, the next day he had an incredibly touching cartoon. It was his two characters that he had based on Bertha and Yucky. And the cartoon showed Bertha saying, "Yucky, I just don't feel like playing ball today." And she was crying. And that's the way I think a lot of us feel here tonight. I just don't feel like announcing. I know a lot of the players, don't feel like playing. It's just at Staples Center fans. Hundreds of fans started to just naturally come together and immediately start putting up a makeshift memorial. Of course, we know how much Kobe meant to the Lakers and how crazy Laker fans are about their team, and especially about Kobe Bryant. Remember, even when LeBron came over as a new Laker, there were still paintings around LA and people who loved Kobe Bryant saying, oh no, Kobe will forever be our number one Laker. And they wanted LeBron. To know that, of course, some time has passed and they put their arms around LeBron as well as Kobe, but Kobe will always hold a special place in the hearts of Laker fans, as far as people actually in the game and their reactions, coaches and players. I think one of the more moving ones came from Doc Rivers. He had coached the LA Clippers. He reminded us that basketball rivalries mean nothing at a time like this. But listen, I just don't have a lot to say. The news is just terrible to everybody who KNOWS. I'm sorry, I don't have a lot to say. I just can't. I have to go talk to my team. Before, again, the Spurs and Greg Popovich were one of Kobe's biggest rivals in the mid-2000s. It's well known that the two had nothing but respect for each other. And that was clear again on the night Kobe died. Everybody's pretty emotional about the tragedy with Kobe, and all of us know what a great player he was. But he went beyond great playing. He was a competitor that is unmatched, and it's what made him as a player so attractive to everybody, that focus, that competitiveness, that will to win. And even more importantly than that, we all feel a deep sense of loss for what he meant to all of us in so many ways. So many millions of people loved him for so many different reasons. It's just a tragic thing that there are no words that can describe how everybody feels about it. Kobe often talked about the Lakers as a family, and without a doubt, one of the greatest of all time in that family and in the NBA family is Kareem Abdul. Kareem had this to say about Kobe moments after finding out. It's very difficult for me to put in words how I feel about the loss of Kobe Bryant. As a young boy, I met him when he was 11 or 12 years old. I'm friends with his dad, Joe. We were former enemies. Joe played for the 76ers, but he was a good friend and someone that I shared a friendship with. It's hard for me to understand now how this is affecting Joe and his wife and Kobe's family. I want to send my most sincere and heartfelt sorry and prayers. I had the privilege of being there when he scored his 81-point game, and it was something that I will always remember as one of the highlights of the things that I have learned and observed in sports. Kobe, my thoughts are with you. Rest in peace. Young man, this loss is just hard to understand. Go with God. Also, as a reminder of how unimportant basketball rivalries are when news like this happens, Boston Celtics head coach Brad Stevens had this to say: ultimate competitor, great for the game, loved the game. My first memory of Kobe was his dad recruited my best friend in high school, and, Kobe was just a kid playing pickup with them. My best friend came back and just told me I just played with the best 16-year-old I ever saw. He was right. News of Kobe's death started to spread around the world. In Israel, Amira Studimia is still playing the game, and cameras caught his very emotional reaction. I'm all right. What are your thoughts right now? I don't know the same way. I'm sorry, bro. I have no idea what even in the world of soccer, Neymar, one of the greatest of that game, showed respect to Kobe Bryant. After his goal, the first goal that he scored after finding out the news, he walked up to the camera and put up the 24 of Kobe Bryant. Tiger Woods was at the peak of his powers around the same time as Kobe Bryant. Tiger found out on the golf course from his caddy. Before that, people were chanting at him to do it for Mamba, and he didn't know why. It's a shocker to everyone. Unbelievably sad, and one of the more tragic days that I think, well, for me, it's really just kind of sinking in because I've just been told, 5 minutes ago. Anytime you saw him in the game, he'd taken on the best player and just shut him down for, all 40 minutes. And then, when he tore his Achilles and went to the free throw line and made those shots, I mean, that's tough. When we're talking about how unimportant rivalries can become, or people who may not have liked Kobe for how competitive he was or whatever it happened to be in the moment in the game, Shaquille O'Neal had one of the most touching tributes, and this one came on social media. Of course, the background was Shaq and Kobe. We all know, since all that drama, they had buried the hatchet. They came out and talked about how they respected each other so much, but still, you couldn't help but think about that personal rivalry being so meaningless when you read these posts by Shaq. Shaq said there's no words to express the pain I'm going through with this tragedy of losing my niece Gigi and my brother. Kobe Bryant, I love you and you will be missed. My sympathy goes out to the Bryant family and the families of the other passengers on board. I am sick right now. Some of the reactions from current players are really special too, because for players of a certain age, Kobe was there, Michael Jordan. I mean, we all know how great MJ was. A lot of people say he's the greatest of all time, but for a lot of young players in the game right now, they weren't old enough to see MJ. They were old enough to see Kobe. He was their MJ. CJ McCollum posted an interview that he did after he played against Kobe, and he said, really love this man since I was a child. I can't believe it. Here's just a little bit from that clip. I just told him, I said, man, I've been watching you since I was a kid, and I appreciate what you did for the game. I appreciate your work ethic. Luka Doncic posted on Instagram, not you. Rest in peace, Mamba. Thank you for everything you showed and did for the world. Scottie Pippen said, I'm stunned. Words can't even come close to describing it. Just an incredibly sad and tragic day. Manu Ginobili said, devastated. Joel Embiid said, man, I don't even know where to start. I started playing ball because of Kobe after I watched the 2010 finals. I had never watched basketball before that.